Buddhism is not only a religion and ideology, but it is also a way of life for millions of people. It has evolved over hundreds of years and has spawned many different branches and sects. Each group carries with it different customs and practices. It is a tradition that is surrounded in a fair amount of mysticism, and through this many texts and works have come out of it. Some describe practices and ceremonial directions. Some describe stories of the Buddha and what he taught. Others tell stories that are meant to teach Buddhist ideals and thought with fantastic stories of the supernatural. The Vimanavatthu is a collection of stories like this that use stories of gods to deliver like lessons. The vimanavatthu is a collection of 83 stories in verse describing the Vimana, a kind of personal heavenly mansion, inhabited by beings reborn as gods or goddesses as a reward for meritorious deeds performed by them as human beings. All the stories follow a similar pattern. They begin with an introductory verse or verses in which the god or goddess is asked about the cause for his or her rebirth within that particular mansion. The Deva thereupon relates his or her previous good deeds. Vimanas are the abodes of pleasure of the gods, and are so called as they have sprung up in accordance with the merits resulting from the amount of good deeds performed by them. The term Vimana has to do with their size. The Vimanavatthu is a Pali text. The word Pali means a line, a causeway, a sacred text, the text recording the teachings of the Buddha, a passage from such text, the language of these texts and its auxiliaries, and also of early Indian inscriptions. Pali is a Middle Indo-Aryan language of northern India origin that was spoken in almost the whole of northern India in the Buddhist time. The Vimanavatthu was created by Moggallana. He was close to the Buddha and attained knowledge necessary for a chief Shavaka. He had attained the 6 supernatural faculties and 4 attainments sought after by Buddhists. Moggallana was eventually selected as the second chief disciple of the Buddha. After traveling to the world of the gods and returning, he asked Buddha if he could go and ask of the gods what merits they achieved in the world of man in order to become gods or goddesses, and Buddha agreed. He then went to the Tautisa heavens, asked of the gods, and returned with the answers he received. The Buddha then confirmed the stories by supplying more background details to them. These were then recited by Moggallana, the Buddha, and chief priests. Of the Buddhist literature, there are 3 divisions: Pitaka, Nikaya, and Sutana. The Vimanavatthu is from Nikaya. Nikaya is further divided into 5 parts. Of the 5 Nikaya, Vimanavatthu belongs to Khuddaka Nikaya. The Vimanavatthu is composed of 7 vagas, or chapters, with 85 stories. The first 4 vagas are of female, Devata, accounts, and the last 3 vagas are of male, Devata, accounts. These discourses are given to show that the human world offers plenty of opportunities for performing meritorious acts. The stories carry with them the ideas that if similar meritorious acts are performed by people, they possibly could attain this. The other objective for such discourses is to refute the wrong views of those who believe that nothing exists after this life, the annihilationists, and those who maintain that there is no resultant effect to any action. Buddhists have different ideas of deities. Buddhists do not deny the existence of various gods or deities. They believe that devas are more fortunate than human beings. They don't need sensual pleasures. They also possess certain powers which human beings usually lack. They exist in happy abodes and enjoy their life for a longer period than human beings do. On the other hand, when they have exhausted all the good karma that they have gathered during previous birth, these deities pass away and are reborn somewhere else according to their good and bad karma. Also, human beings have more opportunities to accrue merits to be born in a better condition, and these deities have fewer chances in this respect. Buddhists do not attribute any specific importance to gods. Some believe that merit can be transferred to them by gods by performing good deeds. They believe this because the Buddha is to have said that the deities will protect those who live in a religious way of life. But making of offerings to and worshipping such deities is not encouraged. All the stories follow a similar pattern. They begin with an introductory verse or verses, in which the god or goddess is asked about the cause for his or her rebirth within that particular mansion. The deva thereupon relates his or her previous good deeds. Of the examples of the stories of the Vimanavatthu, these show the general structure and message of the discourses. The ideas of giving merit are visited upon when Sesavati tells how paying her respect to the Venerable Sariputta in her previous birth was enough to ensure her rebirth in a glorious Deva realm. Vanjisa. I see this delightful and beautiful mansion, its surface of many a color, ablaze with crystal and roof with silver and gold, a well-proportioned palace, possessing gateways and strewn with golden sand. As the thousand-rayed sun in the autumn shines in the sky in the 10 directions, dispelling the dark, so does this your mansion glow, like a blazing smoke-crested fire in the darkness of the night. It dazzles the eye like lightning, beautiful, suspended in space. Resounding with the music of lute, drum, and cymbals, this mansion of yours rivals Indra's city in glory. White and red and blue lotuses, jasmine and other flowers are there, blossoming sal trees and flowering asokas, and the air is filled with a variety of fragrances. Sweet-scented trees, breadfruits, laden branches interlaced, with palm trees and hanging creepers in full bloom, like glorious jeweled nets. Also a delightful lotus pool exists for you. Whatever flowering plants there are that grow in water, and trees that are on land, those known in the human world and heavens, all exist in your abode. Of what calming and self-restraint is this the result? By the fruit of what deed have you arisen here? How did this mansion come to be possessed by you? Tell it in full, O lady with thick eyelashes. Sesavati. How it comes to be possessed by me, this mansion with its flocks of heron, peacocks and partridges, and frequented by heavenly waterfowl and royal geese, resounding with the cries of birds, of ducks and cuckoos, containing divers varieties of creepers, flowers and trees, with trumpet flower, rose apple, and asoka trees. Now how this mansion came to be possessed by me, I will tell you. Listen, venerable sir. In the eastern region of the excellent country of Magadha, there is a village called Nalaka, venerable sir. There I lived formerly as a daughter-in-law, and they knew me there as Sesavati. Scattering flower blossoms joyfully, I honored him, skilled in deeds and worshipped by gods and men, the great Upatissa, who has attained the immeasurable quenching. Having worshipped him, gone to the ultimate bourne, the eminent seer bearing his last body, on leaving my human shape I came to the heaven of the 33 and inhabited this place. Verse 3:7. There are many of these stories in verse. This is another example of a discourse from the Vimanavatthu. Vanjisa. Your yoked and finely caparisoned horses, strong and swift, are heading downward through the sky, and these 500 chariots, magically created, are following the horses urged on by charioteers. You stand in this excellent chariot, adorned, radiant and shining, like a blazing star. I ask you of lovely slender form and exquisite beauty, from which company of gods have you come to visit the unrivaled one? Sirima. From those who have reached the heights of sensual pleasures, said to be unsurpassed, the gods who delight in magical transformation and creation, a nymph from that company, able to assume any desired appearance, has come here to worship the unrivaled one. Venjisa. What good contact did you formerly practice here? How is it that you live in immeasurable glory and have gained such pleasures? Due to what have you acquired the unrivaled power to travel through the sky? Why does your beauty radiate in the 10 directions? You are surrounded and honored by the gods. From where did you decease before you came to a heavenly born, goddess? Or of what teaching